When I first started at the place that I currently work at, I was just this punk kid who thought he knew a thing or two about coding. I remember the first thing that they got me to do, I work at an agriculture company, is they got me to take some Excel spreadsheet data and then dump that data into a database and then basically just display it. So the idea is they wanted to be able to create accounts for their clients. The client could log in and then view all of their farm data that they had in their Excel document. And so I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then I remember rocking up, meeting the guy who's actually an old friend from school. And he was like showing me over the data. And I very quickly realized, oh my gosh, I am so in over my head here. All of the stuff that I was supposed to do and supposed to understand, I couldn't grok any of it. And I was like, dude, I'll be honest, like, you completely lost me. He was going over like their data collection and showing me spreadsheet after spreadsheet. And man, I just could not keep up with him. He was like way too fast for me. But in the end, he was just like, he tried to simplify it for me as much as he could, which he still does to this day because I'm a little bit slow sometimes. Just like sort of dumped it all the way down and was like, hey, can you just dump this into a database? And if you can just dump this one sheet into a database, that would be awesome. So I'm like, oh, all right then. Like, I kind of went home a bit disheartened, but I found this package. It was like Laravel Excel, which made it really easy to dump something, an Excel spreadsheet, into a database. And I just discovered Quasar at the time, so I was kind of playing around with Quasar, and I started using that for the interface. And within a couple of days, I was basically able to create an upload form with Quasar, have a login for a client, and then they could like log in and view all of the stuff that was their farm-related stuff based on what we dumped in the database. So it was a really crappy database. They're all Excel spreadsheets. Nothing was all normalized, but I was able to do it. And I got it done, and I was super excited about this. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a real developer who's actually doing things that help people. And so I got really excited about that. And then that sort of began this, it's been like 3.5 years now, this 3.5 year journey of trying to move their entire data collection process over to online. So that's been my job for the last 3.5 years. And that's where I've really cut my teeth and like gone deep into Quasar because we've had to make some pretty advanced interfaces, so we do crop collection, for example, and we need to get all of their paddocks, and then we've got to do all of the crop collections for that paddock, and then we have to like be able to organize things by period so we can organize things across the years. But then sometimes the periods are for the entire year, sometimes it's the financial year, sometimes it's different seasons. So learning all this stuff about databases and dealing with all of these different like edge cases, it's been a ride. It's been a lot of fun, and I've faced some like serious challenges, but yeah. The crazy thing is though, it's taken 3.5 years now to get to this point where I can take we can collect what their paddocks are. We can assign people to different businesses and basically just all of this stuff. And we're finally reaching a point where we're actually aggregating all of that data into a single view. And for the very first time today, I was able to show a paddock and its history over time and shown what was grown in that paddock and how that like the different crops that were grown in that paddock over the years. And it was just the most phenomenal feeling to think that like it's taken me 3.5 years to get here, to learn how to create the interfaces so that people can input their data, to learn how to aggregate the data, create the summaries of this data so that I could finally create this interface. And when I finally did it and showed like recursive queries, we had to do, because we're using an SQL database, learning how to do recursive queries on an SQL database, which is really not that simple. And like learning how to do some pretty advanced joins, advanced joins with nested data and all that kind of stuff. And to finally press that button and see the paddock history and be able to compare all of its data over time for a single paddock was just the most phenomenal feeling. And it's a target that we've had for ages now. And I just want to tell everybody out there listening that it is totally worth it. If you have this vision in your head of something you want to build, or if your company has this vision of, something larger. If you keep working at it and you keep abstracting concepts and you keep keeping your code dry and you keep iterating and you keep learning new things, there are some phenomenal problems that you can solve with code. And I'm having people now say to me, because I'm sitting here at home, not at home, at the office, sometimes at home, writing code and thinking, is this actually helpful? Are these tiny problems that I'm solving one after the other, do they actually mean anything? And then eventually, after all of this hard work, to then show some of the team what I was able to come up with today, and for them to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is game changing. That is a phenomenal feeling. And and you know what? I started off as this punk kid who knew nothing about code, who struggled to basically just dump some data from an Excel spreadsheet into a database, to now collecting the data ourselves, normalizing a database, aggregating that database, and bringing back, feeding them back something that is that helpful. It is just such an amazing feeling, and this is such a great time to be alive and to be a coder. So I just want to let you know that if you've got this vision for something, you have to keep at it every single day. Keep iterating. If I were to try and get to where I am today and take this project that we've built from scratch and get to where I am today, I could probably do it within months because I've already learned all of the lessons now. I've already fought all of the battles to get me to where I am. And now, in the future, when we start collecting more data and aggregating more data, it's going to be so much easier. So I just want you to know that it is totally worth it. It's imagine reaching a point where pretty much all of your coding problems that you would want to solve as a web developer, you have all the answers. Not all of the answers, okay? I don't have all of the answers, but to know that you have a solution to all of these problems at your fingertips and being confident when somebody says, can you build this? And being able to say, yes, it might take me time, but I can build that helpful thing that's going to help change your life and the life, in my case, of farmers and agriculture consultants. It's just the most phenomenal feeling. And now I can take these lessons and teach all of you out there through quasarcast.com. And now I can take all of these lessons and start building larger projects, more exciting projects. It really is an amazing time to be alive as a developer. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope that I've managed to inspire you, if, just a little bit. If you're sort of thinking to yourself, this is hard, this is overwhelming, there's so much to learn. Yes, it's true. Sometimes it is hard, and sometimes it's overwhelming, but you keep iterating, you keep working on these patterns again and again and again, and I promise you will reach a point where you truly can build anything that you can envision in your mind. So keep at it. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next. Episode. And by the way, if you like learning through videos, and if you're a Quasar dev, which you probably are if you're listening to this, then check out quasarcast.com/register. I'm actually going to start something soon. At the moment, I'm telling people to just go sign up, but I'm working on, I guess what you'd call a lead magnet, which is something to kind of sweeten the deal for you to go to the website. And that lead magnet is basically going to be it's sort of a choose-your-own adventure for learning Quasar. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. It's going to be 3 questions, and based on those answers, I'm then going to basically create you a curriculum on QuasarCast so you can learn what you need to learn to level up your Quasar skills. So if you don't know a thing about Quasar, then I'll take you from zero to hero. If you're somebody who already knows Vue.js and you already know a little bit of Quasar and you're a pretty advanced developer, then I can show you how to advance from there. So that's something I'm currently working on. Check out quasarcast.com/register if you like this kind of thing, learning through videos, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.